In this video, I'm going to show a shiny Smeargle I found, and while I catch it, I'm going to talk about my history with cloning shinies and also the topic of preference versus rigidity. Then I'll explain how I do the cloning glitch in Emerald to easily duplicate Pokemon and items. I'll also talk about reverse cloning, which is useful for ditching bad eggs, or ones like this. Also, since Smeargle is based on a dog, here's a clip of my dog. She even often has her tongue sticking out like Smeargle does. Let's begin, starting with the shiny Smeargle live encounter.
Oh my god, what? No way.
So about a year into full odds hunting, around 2009, I was talking with another shiny hunter through YouTube messages, back when that was a thing. We were talking about cloning shinies. I said that I didn't clone mine, and he seemed taken aback by it, basically saying I was being very obsessive for not cloning them. Now, I of course have my obsessive tendencies. That's basically a prerequisite for shiny hunting. But the way he said it seemed judgmental, and it really stuck with me. There were times where I really questioned my approach to gaming and other things. That said, several months later, I actually started to consider cloning shinies, probably largely due to that conversation. And eventually I decided to clone a few of them and see how I feel. And as I kind of expected, it felt off. It just seemed too easy to duplicate them. I was also stressing over which one of them would be considered the original. I think I eventually ended up releasing most of the shinies I got from cloning, so I was down to one of each shiny. Now, sure, I did overreact, but that was just the result of going too far outside my comfort zone too quickly, and playing the game in a way that worked for someone else but not for me. Fast forwarding to late 2022, I officially got back into shiny hunting after pretty much 7 years off. I had cloning shinies in the back of my mind, but I didn't quite feel ready to do it yet. But after I found this Smeargle, I knew it was time to clone a shiny for the first time in many years. I felt drawn to doing it, and I felt I was ready. As I've gotten older, I've really started to value my time more. The way I see it, if I'm going to be putting in most likely a lot of time and effort to find a shiny with such low odds, like 1 in 8192, if it appears in Gen 3, I might as well take advantage of the opportunity I have to clone it, so I can transfer it to multiple games and get to experience it in those too. I can get the whole evolution line if it evolves. I can EV train it in multiple ways. There are a lot of options. So I felt pretty good after I cloned the Smeargle. I made quite a few copies. I was proud of myself for cloning it. I do still have more to let go of with this, like accepting using cloned items in Pokemon and games other than Emerald, but this is a step in the right direction. Now I just want to circle back to different approaches to video games and other things. I believe there's often a gray area between preference and rigidity. Depending on who you ask, something could fall into either category. On the topic of video games, some gamers use guides often, others not at all, and some, like myself, occasionally use them, but I can't say one approach is objectively right or wrong for how someone enjoys their personal hobby like gaming. Everyone has a different background and countless factors that affect how they do things. I'll add a caveat here. I do disagree with some ways of playing Pokemon, but I'm not judging them for doing it that way, like using knowingly hacked Pokemon for surprise trades. Now last, I just want to talk about how I decide whether or not my approach to something is a preference or if I'm being trapped by fear in the comfort zone. I start by asking myself if I actually want to do things a different way than I'm currently doing them. If the answer is yes, I know it's time to face some mental blocks and let go. To make progress with that, I continually take small doable steps, using my intuition to guide me. Anyway, getting back to the Smeargle, let's finally catch this. Alright, now how to do the cloning glitch. This is a great way to essentially copy and paste a Pokemon, in case you want to trade or transfer them to other games while still keeping them on the original. Or if you want to EV train it in different ways. Or maybe you just want a team of one of your favorites. It's also extremely useful for duplicating rare items and powerful TMs. You'll need an Emerald version. It won't work in Ruby or Sapphire. Now you'll need to have unlocked the Battle Frontier, which you can do by beating the Pokemon League, then going to Sleepport and riding the ship to Lily Cove. And while you're on the ship, rest once in this particular bed. Then you can ride the ship from either Lily Cove or Sleepport to get to the Battle Frontier. Once you're there, you'll want to make your way to the Battle Tower. Now let's start with how to clone Pokemon. Even though the glitch is pretty easy to do, until you get the hang of it, I'd recommend starting with some Pokemon you don't care about losing, just for some peace of mind. And hold off on cloning any good items. Now before you start, you'll want to get all the Pokemon ready in your party. You can clone 5 max at a time, and you can give them items if you want to. Including everything, whether you're cloning it or not. You'll need at least 2 Pokemon, different species, different held items if they have any level, and they can be legendary but not mythical. So you can enter anything except Mew, Celebi, Jirachi, or Deoxys. Now this step is optional, but I'd recommend using an empty box. This will make it easier to tell which Pokemon you're cloning. So have the last viewed box before exiting the PC be an empty one. And once you have your party ready, save in front of this PC. Then deposit the ones you want to clone. You can also move them, but that'll be slower. Once they're in the box, exit the PC and save the game. Then withdraw those same Pokemon that you just deposited. You can withdraw them in any order, as long as you end up with the same set of Pokemon that you started with. This next part is the same for all versions of the glitch, cloning or reverse cloning Pokemon or items. You'll talk to this lady here, select the first choice, and then either option, level 50 or open level, and enter 2 eligible Pokemon, then select yes, and then right as you're asked if you want to save the game, soft reset, by pressing A, B, start, and select. I recommend pressing start and select first, and then A and B. I find this helpful for getting the right timing for the reset. And now you'll have your Pokemon cloned with copies in your party and PC. And if you want to keep cloning, just repeat these steps. Note that even the first save is important for locking in the progress of the previous cloning session. Now, cloning items. This is similar to Pokemon. You can clone as many items as you want at once, as long as you have enough Pokemon in your PC to give them to. And once again, you'll need at least 2 valid ones to enter in your party. I'd recommend using boxes with Pokemon that don't have any held items. That way you can easily tell which ones you're cloning. So, once you're ready, have that box be the last one you view before exiting the PC. Save the game. Give the items you want to clone to Pokemon in your PC. Exit and save the game again. Log back into the PC, and put all the items you're cloning into your bag. Then talk to this person, and enter 2 Pokemon. Soft reset the game at this point. Then you'll have the items in your bag and on the Pokemon in your PC. Just like with cloning Pokemon, if you want to duplicate more items, you'll want to save at the start of that. Now another thing you can do is the reverse cloning glitch, where you can delete Pokemon or items, though it's pretty pointless for the latter, which I'll get into later. So reverse cloning Pokemon could be useful if there's a bad egg you want to ditch, or any other questionable egg you don't want to hatch. So to do the reverse cloning glitch, start with the Pokemon you want to delete in your PC, and make sure you have at least 2 you can enter in your party. Save the game. is draw the Pokemon or eggs you want to delete. Save again. Then deposit them. And, you guessed it, enter 2 Pokemon at the desk. And soft reset here. And then those Pokemon will be gone. And now for the reverse cloning glitch with items. There's no real reason to do this, because you can much more easily and quickly toss the items. But if you do want to try it, you want to start by having Pokemon in your PC hold the items you want to delete. Then save. Put those items in your bag. Save again. Then put the items back on the Pokemon, putting each item on the respective Pokemon that was originally holding it. And just like before, you go to the desk and enter 2 Pokemon. And soft reset. That is how you clone and reverse clone an Emerald. And I'm excited to use this shiny Smeargle to catch other shinies, and regular Pokemon too. Thank you so much for watching.